You have a quick question. What is the best thing to do with the first two queens, inject or tumor? Is it different? You know you get cheesed. So in Zerg versus Zerg, inject, inject. In Zerg versus Terran, comes a little bit down to preference. You could do one of each. I know Cyril does that, Rogue does that sometimes, just to get the creep from the second base to the third base pretty fast. You do have to use your lings and the queen to defend the tumor. So it's kind of advanced and fancy, and you can get punished for it. So inject, inject is the simplest and safest. And then you could do creep, creep after that whenever you have 4 queens. And then in ZvP, I take my third base at 20 supply. So sometimes I'll creep, creep. But I only make 1 queen at a time with that build. Which one creeps? Usually the one in the natural creeps to the third. Here, I'm just going to show you something. I'm going to show you the first few minutes of a ZvT. How's that sound? Just an empty custom game. It's easier if you see it, I think. I will show you now. Thank you, Sushi, for submitting the first replay of this casting time. Vipers are quite good against a heavy tank player. It does add some technical difficulty to using the army, but what I would do is just have the Vipers follow the Hydras. And then whenever your army is getting close, you A move in and then select the Vipers and then drop the Blind Clouds. I feel like creep in main is faster to get the third with the high ground. I'm going to show you one simple trick that's going to make all the Protoss and Terran people mad and grossed out because you have so much creep so fast. Are you ready for this? Get your pencils and your notepads, notebooks, crayons, whatever you have to. 16 hatch. That's not on accident, that's on purpose. 16 hatch every matchup. Let's call this a ZvT. I'm just going to give you a simple build. We don't need to overcomplicate everything because having matchup-specific builds, I think, doesn't really shine until you're in Masters 1. For Zerg, at least. I can't really speak for the other matchups. So I'm just rallying workers in the gas, keeping it super simple. The pool is going, this is hatch first. You can defend every cheese in the game with hatch first if you know the defensive procedure. If you don't know the procedure for a certain cheese, you can ask somebody. You can even drone up to 20 if you want to. Or you can overlord and then drone. The benefit of going 16 hatch as well is this drone that I've made just now. Whenever it gets down to the natural, it's going to start to mine. But then by the time it's done mining, the space is done. So we're really off to the races here. I made 4 lings as soon as my ling speed is done. And then we're going to start pulling up gas to 92, 96. Metabolic boost, drone. My overlords are kind of scouting about, seeing what's up. The lings, let's say there's a Reaper. They can just hold position here. It's a super, super strong response because the Reaper oftentimes tries to bait the lings away from the base. Because off creep, the Reapers kick ass. 30 Overlord every time. Inject, inject, keeping it nice and simple. Let's make 2 more queens. And I'm not touching these 2 queens. They did a good job injecting the bases, and they can stay at those jobs. Okay, I made another Overlord at 38. Using hold position like this. Wow, wow. I'm not being baited by the Reaper. Inject, inject. 1 more Overlord. All drones. Okay. And now, 2 more queens finished. Creep, creep. And these lings aggressively defend this tumor from the Reaper. And so does the queen. You can even creep behind the queen if you want to make it even better. Okay, so ling speed is done. We can push the Reaper off the third and take it. Bam. And then we make an Overlord. And now, we hit the injects. We make sure the queens, these creep queens are hotkeyed. Making 2 Overlords now. Then we go lair. Right around 4 minutes, I just fixed the rally point. And we could even do Sushi's Evo chamber trick. So now the stuff only comes in one way. And look at this, the main base is creeped. The natural is creeped. We're getting close to being at the third base. These 3 queens are on a hotkey because they're the defense queens. These 2 queens are not on a hotkey because they're the inject queens. They have different jobs. Same unit, different jobs. Look at this creep, it's absurd. It's just going all over the place. 4:30 to 5 minutes, 1 spore per base. Every ZvT, no exceptions. Keep it simple. Lair is done, make an Overseer. It's a good habit to get into. Base finishes, it's like a heckin' birthday shower for queens or whatever. They're really excited. There's a new hatchery. They all want to see what's up. So they go over and this base is injected right away. Right away. Look at this. I have 800 minerals. Are we fucked? Do we just have money for the rest of the game? No, we do this. 4th base, macro hatch, spend the larva. The money has been spent. You see that? This happens all the time. People have 1 million minerals. But you can fix it. You can get on top of it. Just beast it. 4th base, macro hatch, larva. Spend the larva. Double ups. This is macro made simple. Super simple stuff. And then as you're going, you really want to push creep in front of your newest base. If you're supply blocked but you still have money, take Burrow and Overlord speed. Burrow and Overlord speed do not take supply to research, and they're 100 each. You can even put some Overlords on these high ground spots so you can creep up faster. I'm going to show you another trick now. So these queens that are spreading creep, you don't want to have them right on the front line like this. That's stupid. Why is it stupid? Because if there's a tank set up here and the Marines come up, these are the first things to die. But these are your units. You want to look after them and be a good steward of your forces. Treat them like they're living creatures that matter. So what do? You say, okay, we want to spread creep. Let's go tumor, shift, move command here. And then look, they laid the creep and they go back to a safer spot. So now when the Marine tank shit shows up, it's just 3 tumors and they didn't kill your queens. Incredible. You see that? Macro hatch is hotkeyed. I have a bunch of money. What do we do? Can we spend if we have this much money? I don't know. Let's try it. 5th base, 6th base. Drone this. Take this. Make these bases more defensible. Get the other tech pieces. Get an Overseer. The queens inject tumor and then they get shift rallied back. We've spent the money. Cool. There you have it. Macro made simple. Let it be set into stone.